First and foremost, Dak is an elite quarterback. Is he top 10? Is he top 5? No. But is he a top 10 quarterback? I don't know. You can debate that. We can debate that in another episode. It is what it is. But Dak Prescott is a elite quarterback. And I say that because when you look at the Dak Prescott that we saw, his first year starting to now, he has improved drastically. He knows when to kill a play. His arm, his accuracy is crazy good. He's a solid quarterback. If you need to run, he's not the most mobile, but he can get out the pocket and run. Dak is a solid quarterback. And that was very apparent looking on Monday Night Football, looking at how he looked compared to how Jalen Hurts looked. Jalen Hurts, he was sacked several times. Of course, that's a lot to do with the offensive line, but a lot of that was also because he didn't know when to give up on the play. We know the big pick six that Trayvon Diggs had. Jalen Hurts it doesn't look, I know he's still young and early in his career, but it just doesn't look like he is good enough to be a franchise quarterback because of his decision making. Now, I'm not saying that's not going to change or that can't change, that can't improve. Hell, look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen, the first few years looked like a garbage quarterback. A lot of people were saying he's going to be a bust in the league because of his accuracy problems, because of his interception problems. Now you look at Josh Allen, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but Josh Allen looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the league still. But I got it. And I always wonder how of course fans are going to be fans, you know what I mean? Like, fans are always going to ride for your team. I get that. I understand a fan is going to be a fan. That's just how fandom is. That's how it is. But I never understand, and it's not just fans, how people always say that this is Dallas's year, like Dallas is finally going to win the Super Bowl this year, or it's always something to that effect. Dallas is Dallas's year. Now, I get the fans. The fans, fan is short for fanatic. So you're going to ride for your team. But I never understand how people can be so quote unquote delusional thinking that the Cowboys can win the Super Bowl. And then I got it. Monday Night Football, it hit me. Dallas has the luxury, right? Dallas is fortunate enough to play in a division that as we speak today is by far the worst division in football. Am I saying that the NFC East holds the worst team? No. Every team in the NFC East, even though the Giants are 0-3. Every team, or no, 1-3, 1-2, I think, or they're 0-3, 0-3. Now I'm not saying that they're not as bad as the Jaguars or the Jets or anything, but Dallas has the luxury of playing in the NFC East, and when you look at the NFC East, Dallas has a lot of the best, I guess you can say, in the NFC East. They have the best quarterback. You have Dak, Daniel Jones, Tyler Heineke, and Jalen Hurts. They have the best offensive line. They have the best receiving core. Due to Saquon Barkley's injury and how he's looked, of course, coming back from injury, Dallas has the best running back. And through 3 weeks of the season, which is surprising to me, Dallas has had the best defense in the NFC East. And I say that's surprising to me because I don't know if you remember, but I was on record, and of course, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. But I was on record saying that Washington was going to be the best team mainly because of their defense. But we'll talk about that a little later. That's not been the case. So I can say that for the first 3 weeks, Dallas has the best defense in the NFC East. And what Dallas does is they capitalize on being on the NFC East. They capitalize because I think Dak Prescott is 12-1 against the NFC East in his career. 12-1. So whether it's Washington, the Giants, Philly, the Dallas Cowboys, when Dak Prescott is playing, feasts on the NFC East. And because of that, people have a warped sense or a warped vision of the Dallas Cowboys. They think, well, because of Dallas Cowboys, it's like I'm trying to give you you know what it is? You ever have I'm not going to single out to women. So you ever have a guy group, right? A guy group, and there's 4 people in the group, and then you can always tell that there's one, like, he's the leader of the group. Like he's I guess you can say he's the best looking guy in the group. You can tell that he's probably, his stature is a little bit higher in the group than everyone else, right? But don't let it fool you. When that guy gets out of the group and goes to a group where, he may not be the quote unquote best, that guy's true value, I guess you can say, is exposed. What do I mean by that? The Dallas Cowboys feast on the NFC East, which allows them to be in contention to be in the playoffs year after year after year after year. I mean, they're not a bad team. It's just they feast on the NFC East. And because of that, a lot of their deficiencies go without, like, you can, it's fine. You don't have to Mike McCarthy is not that good of a coach. He has situational awareness problems. He has clock management problems. Some of the plays they be dialing up, whether it's him, Kellen Moore, I don't know. It's just not the best. But because Dak is good, and because they're playing in NFC East, you can, it's cool. You can just let it be. But again, and let's go back to the male and the group analogy. We see year after year after year how good Dallas looks when they play against the NFC East, and the NFC East is the worst division in football. But what happens when Dallas plays a team outside the NFC East? Like, what happens when Dallas plays what was it? Now, again, I understand Dak wasn't there, but what happens when they play the Green Bay Packers? What happens when they play the LA Rams? What happens if they play any team outside of the division? That's a good team. I'm not saying like they can play the Jets and just look mediocre, but you can't say. We've seen what they look like against top tier talent, and it looks drastically different than what it does against playing against the NFC East. So this sounds like hate. I know it does. It sounds like hate. Jay, you're hating on the Dallas Cowboys. You're a Washington fan, so no. This is not hate. This is me being real. This is realism. This is me being honest. The Dallas Cowboys is not a bad team. They're not a bad team at all. They're a really good team. Don't get me wrong. But when you put them up against a Rams or Seattle or Green Bay or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, let's talk about that game for a second. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. Yes, Dallas lost, and it was a close game. But as you saw, Tampa Bay was able to make those timely plays. The timely plays where there's always a couple plays in a game that can win you or lose you a game. It seemed like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to make all those plays. Hell, Tom Brady was able to drive down with like a minute left and kick a field goal to win the game. Like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to make those plays that Dallas just weren't able to make. even though Dallas did come back, they were not able to make the big plays in the big moments. You don't have to worry about that going against Tyler Heineke or going against Jalen Hurts or going against Daniel Jones in that defense. Like, you don't have to worry about that.